Good evening, good afternoon from wherever you're tuning in. Welcome y'all to Tea and Tarot. It's your sis Moon Magic, where moods and melodies meet over tarot and beats. My name is Moon Magic. I'm a hip hop artist, MC, and educator in the Sacramento area, and we get here together every Thursday pulling cards from 5 to 6 p.m. live and just tapping into our intuition and checking in with one another. And this Tea and Tarot is a special episode because we have a special guest, Cameron Love, which I'm looking forward to today's discussion and bringing this discussion to the Tea and Tarot space. So while our special guest is coming, I'm going to go ahead and add some of the details here in the chat for those who are interested in checking out the Patreon, where I pull for the Patreon members and also have stuff for music related things as well, practice sessions, unreleased songs, things like that. You can go to www.moonmagicflows for more info. And also, if you are called to donate, I will also include my Cash App here and Venmo for you to donate as well. And that will be down below for those who are watching on the playback. But as I put all this into the live chat here, just roll call, check in. How are we doing, everyone? How's your week been? How are we feeling this week? I know it's been quite a while, wild couple of really years, but whole life, but you know. How are we feeling this week? Let me know if there's anything happening in your world you want to share here in the Tea and Tarot space. What are we drinking on tonight? I got my coffee and my water, dueling up hydration and caffeine. You know how I do. And yeah, updates. Let's see, since last week I spoke with you all, I did add another class to my school schedule because I just, I'm trying to get through school and doing it all. So I've definitely been super busy with school. I think I mentioned that last Tea and Tarot space as well. But it's been really awesome as well. I'm starting to finally see, I started the audio engineering program in August, I think, of last year, and starting to really see a lot of what we've been learning. And I'm taking, this is my second theory class as well, music theory class, and just getting to see a lot of growth in those areas and things kind of integrating has been really exciting for me, because I would just show up to class and be like, gets into my brain, and there's a lot of things that I know, obviously, from doing music already as an artist, but definitely the more like technical science behind things type of way has been new for me. So it's been exciting to see that kind of like, coming to class and being like, oh, okay, I know what we're talking about. I know what this thing is, or, I'm figuring it out. I'm seeing some things trickle in, not all things. I officially feel like I can confidently set up a drum kit, which is awesome, because as a hip hop artist, most of the times when I play drums, it's through a sample or a loop of some sort. So knowing how to set up a drum kit felt very foreign to me, but as an audio engineer person, it's very important to know how to do that at a gig. Most drummers will probably set up their own drums, but if there's a house drum, and just in general, I don't want to look like an idiot when I'm like, what is that? I don't even know what that drum is. Is that a tom? Is that a what? Shout out to Christian in the building. I see our special guest is in the building. I'm about to let you on and introduce you as well. Let's see, any other updates? I think that's the main updates that I can think of. It is February now. Happy Black History Month, everyone. And happy Love Month. We got Valentine's Day next week. I don't know if anyone's got some plans. I'm probably gonna be sleeping, to be honest. And it's also J Dilla Day this weekend, which I'm real excited about, because I know that there's quite a few events here in the city happening for Dilla Day on the 7th, and I think the 6th. I just reposted an event that's happening the 6th with Abs One here in Sacramento, and then the 7th has quite a few people involved, including Flip a Beat Club over at Legend Has It. And I think there's something going on at the 8th after the Super Bowl, but it might be in the Bay Area with some of the Flip a Beat Club folks. But a lot of really fun stuff happening this weekend and next. Is anybody watching the Super Bowl? Anybody have some Super Bowl plans? Let me know. Yeah. Let's see, anything else on here that I want to talk about? Oh, IQ's project. We've been talking about her project, and it is finished, as I mentioned last week, and we're just now, the team and I are just kind of going back and forth and making sure we get the master finished. And I handed it off to another person who's going to be working on the project as well. And so we're kind of in the last leg of that. So I'm real excited for y'all to see that. The first single from the project is to drop on February 14th, called Ain't Love. Ain't Love. And more details to come. And I think that's it. Yeah, any updates from anyone here in the chat? Let me see. I don't think so. All right, since I don't see any updates, we're going to go ahead and get started. Let me go ahead and introduce our special guest. So our special guest today is Cameron Love. Cameron Love is a singer-songwriter from Sacramento, California. They're known for their soulful vocals and heartfelt songwriting. They're committed to authentic storytelling and inclusive artistry. Cam has a song with Yum's Awkward and Zahira releasing soon. And they are currently working on a stripped-down acoustic EP, which is set to release this year. Everyone, welcome to the T and Tarot space, Cameron Love. Hold up. There we go. Cameron is one of my favorite musicians in the city. Their songs are just so heartfelt.
What's
That's a
up?
great way to describe it. Heartfelt songwriting and authentic storytelling. I love that. Also, shout out to Yums. That's my little girl right there.
Shout out to Yums and Zahira.
Yeah, let's go ahead and start with that. Tell me more about this project you're doing with Yums and Zahira.
Yeah, well, first I just want to say, hi Moon, how are you doing today?
Hi, how are you doing? Wait, before we go anywhere, updates for you. How are you doing? How's your week going?
I'm good. I'm good. It's been a stressful couple of weeks because
Mhm.
I'm working on a couple of projects, but overall, just super excited to see for y'all to see basically what I've been working on. So yeah.
Mhm.
Some stuff I'm still kind of waiting on to announce, but with the Yums Awkward and Zahira collab, so that happened super organically. Yums was in town and he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna be at the studio, pull up." So I did. I was
Mhm.
just going to kind of say hi, hang out. It was the first time I met um Zahira, or also known as the Loverboy Drew. So if I say Drew, that's what I'm used to calling him. That's also who I'm talking about. But yeah, um, we just were kind of vibing, and actually, Doc Trey was there too. He was working on editing, I think the video that Yums did with West Side Boogie. I
Okay.
believe that's the song that he was editing. Um, and yeah, he was working on a song. Literally was started writing his verse right there. Asked me if I wanted to hop on because I was there, and I said sure. And it was just the most organic. We were just all hanging out and just vibing. Drew added some music. He always claims he doesn't like to produce,
Mm.
but he is good at it, regardless of what he says. So on the spot, he also added like this really cool, trumpet section.
Mm.
So yeah, it's gonna be it's a really dope song, and it's an uplifting song as well.
Well, that's exciting. I'm looking forward to hearing it when the release date comes out. Definitely let me know so I can share it.
I
Um,
got you.
But aside from that, let's go ahead and dive into today's discussion. I know that part of what we were talking about before this call was about discovering who you are and your purpose and passion, in a world that's not designed for you. So I just wanted
Mm.
to open the floor and kind of give this platform to you to start the discussion off with what that means to you. And then we'll continue from there, kind of open discussion style, if that sounds good to you.
Yeah, that's perfect. And also, please do not be afraid to interrupt me because I tend to ramble. Especially when I'm passionate about a subject, I can kind of jump ideas.
Yes,
So,
I love
yeah.
passionate rambles. Let's go.
No, I can't even help it, gang. Like, I really can't. But yeah, so obviously, we live in a society, and I am obviously going to speak for the United States of America. There are similar issues globally,
Mhm.
but this is where I live, right? So I can only really speak from my experience here. So within this society, being black first and foremost, and then AFAB, right? Like assigned female at birth, and being conditioned to be a girl and being raised as that. There's, we get, I don't know, I just remember being a kid and being told, be yourself, right?
Mm,
Like that was, you can be anything you want to be. Those were the things and messages we were receiving when I was growing up. And then I started to grow up and realize I cannot be who I want to be because
mm,
people have problems with that.
mm,
Um, and then even like, I don't know, I just feel like I fit a lot of intersections, right? So
mm,
I'm Black, non-binary, trans, AFAB, right? So again, regardless of how I identify, the way that I'm typically perceived is
mm,
female. So that's how I'm being treated, right?
yeah,
Um, and then having mental health issues, right?
mm,
Growing up with a parent who was vocal about their mental health struggles and educated us on it. But then also my some of my struggles being overlooked
mm,
because of that.
mhm.
And not
It was
really being able
becoming
to
like normalized. Is that
Mhm.
what it was? It was more like a normalization.
I would say within my family dynamic, what I'm trying to get at is that like the struggles that I had mentally or emotionally regulating were
Mm,
kind of overlooked
mm,
because the issues that my parents were having were priority,
mm,
which makes sense, right? If you're stressing about bills and da
mhm,
da da, da, that's where your focus is gonna be. But here I am, and I'm being told like, go out here and do this class, right? So I'll do that as an example. Put me in a dance class, and I'm in the back of the room, like terrified. But those like needs weren't being met or like addressed
mm.
for me to like push
So
past
more
it.
like
Now,
glossed over, not necessarily
hmm
normalized, but just completely unaddressed ultimately.
exactly,
It doesn't
exactly.
exist.
And
Okay.
then that right there, I mean, I could go on a tangent about that alone because you're talking about generational trauma, and
Mm,
within the Black community,
mm,
we've got slavery in our history. So
mm,
I wasn't a slave. I'm not a product of slavery,
mm,
but our DNA, it's embedded in our DNA. So
mm,
that trauma is getting passed down. Those issues are getting passed down,
mm,
whether they're addressed or not. And that's for a lot of us. So being Black, being undiagnosed or underdiagnosed, particularly if you're a Black woman,
mm,
but even if you're a Black man. So it's just, there's that. And then growing up and trying to embrace my sexuality, right? And my gender. That my gender expression and identity is honestly pretty recent. I'm not gonna lie. This is
mm,
only within the last 2 years or so, maybe three, that I've
mm,
been able to really embrace that side. Because I was just kind of like an awkward tomboy, I guess.
mm,
Um,
mm,
and I didn't even come out or acknowledge liking girls until I was like in college
mm,
ish.
mhm.
So, there's just I feel like I was a bit of a late bloomer. And then when you
Relate
feel
to
like
that,
that,
especially because my
yeah.
family dynamic also was it's just very toxic in many ways. So I didn't really get to like discover myself until college. So I can relate to that in those ways of being a late bloomer for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And it's not even like, and I'm so sorry you had to deal with that toxicity because I know that's pretty normal actually. And like it's what happens in a lot of family dynamics, unfortunately. And that wasn't really the case for me. But I mean, I had my own struggles with like
Mm,
confidence and things like that. Even
mhm,
with my music, right? So it's all tied together. It's, like humans are so beautifully complicated.
mhm,
Uh, and I can recognize and acknowledge like all of the positive things that help shaped who I am, while
mm,
also making space to like unpack the things that maybe didn't go so great. And then I'm trying to navigate myself in this world where again, going back to the notion of be yourself. I can't, if I make a post right now on the internet and I say I am a trans guy, I
mm,
use pronouns he, him. I'm
mm,
gonna get comments from people saying you're gay or you're not a man and da 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 da. So
mm,
here I am being myself, but I'm being told I can't be or that I'm not actually who I am. Right. And that's just not just my experience. Obviously, that's pretty much everyone's experience in the queer community.
mm.
Um,
So with all
yeah.
that being said, how does spirituality play a role in your discovering who you are in this world that is blatantly saying like you can be anything, but then when you try to be anything, you can't. What does that look
Hmm.
like for you, and how does that play a role in your path?
Yeah, so my spirituality journey it's been something. I'm sure it's been for most people who are on a spiritual journey. I grew up in a Lutheran school.
Mm-hmm.
So from like the grade of like preschool to like third grade, I was going to church and like learning, memorizing Bible verses, and but I was also one of the few black kids or people like kids of color
Mm-hmm.
as well. So it was predominantly white environment. Um and so I don't know, that was I feel like more institutionalized, right? It was like I was being told what to say and I was regurgitating that. And then once we moved, we weren't really going to church as a family from that point, and so I'd say my faith was kind of fleeting.
Mm-hmm.
I was obviously still pretty young, right? So, and then you skip to like when my parents got sick. So first, my dad actually ended up having an emergency heart surgery. We all went in. Me, my mom, and my dad went into the doctors literally for like checkups,
Wow.
and he had to get ambulance to another hospital and
Mm.
ended up getting transferred to another hospital to have the surgery. It was like a whole thing. And then a few
Over a
weeks,
checkup appointment at first? Wow. Man, y'all do your checkups because that's wild. Shoo, I'm
yeah. And
sorry.
then 3 weeks later, my mom got diagnosed with breast cancer.
Wow.
So I was dealing with the recovery of my dad while my mom was like getting sicker, essentially, to
Mhm.
get better because chemotherapy obviously strips you
Mhm.
of a lot of your nutrients and your cells. And so I was a bit more on the like, I'd say faith side because I was seeing them coming out of something so terrible.
Yeah.
And so that kind of like really solidified my faith, I think, a little bit more. But still kind of struggling because of like the way Christianity is taught in this country.
Colonized and colonial in structure and all the things and white supremacy.
Well, in religion in general, but
Yes.
yes, yes. Exactly. And so I struggled with that because I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't align with the church view,
Hmm.
if you will, but I believe there's a higher power. So
Hmm.
it was kind of like this struggle throughout the years of like figuring out how that's related, like how was I going to approach
Like the connection
this?
still being
Yeah,
strong, but like all the other parts not
yeah, it was like
there.
convoluting it. It was like making me be
Yeah.
like, well, it was making me want to stray away because I'm like, but
Mhm.
I don't want to be in church saying gay people are going to hell. And you know what I mean? That's
You
not
know
me.
what's
Like,
so interesting about this? I just want to stop real quick and just mention this because it came on my heart right now. Is the
yes.
same way that I think that people have a hard time calling out Trump and his atrocities because they're like, oh, I can believe in him as a person, as a president, but I can disagree with some of his stuff. I think it's the same kind of brainwashing in Christianity, where it's
Mm,
like, because they teach you the same thing, where it's like, you don't have to believe in everything that they're saying, but if you're a good Christian, you just kind of look the other way and yeah, we all believe this. And it's like, wait a minute, like, come on, that doesn't mean we can't have discernment. That doesn't mean we can't see that people are like, actually problematic and that a church is still ran by human beings. That doesn't mean that God's bad. That doesn't mean that the word is bad, but maybe the
mhm,
interpretation or the way that it's being used as a governmental structure over our bodies and our sovereignty. That might be the wrong part. Similarly, I see the same kind of rhetoric in the way that people talk about the president is the same way that Christians talk about certain things. They're like, well, I don't agree with that, but I'm still this. And I'm like, but you just said you don't agree with it.
mhm. Or I'm
But
not
you
racist, but my husband is.
right, but I still support Trump, but I
Hmm.
don't believe in what he's
How
doing.
does
What?
that work? You know? Yeah. No. Absolutely. I
But it's the
agree.
same kind of way that we're taught from a young age. Like, oh, you don't question. Sex is bad. You have sex before you're married. You're going to hell. We're not going to question it. We all know that people are doing it. Most people in the church had sex before they were married. Let's be real. So, are you all going to hell or what?
Well, don't get me started because we can
A whole
talk
other
about
story.
first of all, people are praising the priest or pastor most of the time and not God. Let's also start there. It's also a tax cut, so it's a
Yes.
business.
Yes.
So let's also address that.
Yeah.
And if you are a church and you are turning away people who are in need, are
Mm,
you a church? No.
yeah.
No, like you are not even doing the word of the God. And what's so funny is like, if Jesus, I've seen this so many times, but it's so real. Like, if Jesus Christ came down right now and was walking amongst this earth, motherfuckers would crucify him like they did in the Bible. You guys think that you are so enlightened and
Yeah.
evolved, but you have the same hate in your heart that
Yeah.
the people that put him on the cross, nailed him, and killed him did. And that's
And he's
if
not
this
coming
even
down
fucking
as a white
happens.
man, for
Like,
sure. Not coming down as a
yeah,
white
and that's
man.
it. Because this was in Egypt. It's Africa. What are we talking about? You're trying to convince motherfuckers that Jesus was white? Get the fuck on. I'm sorry. I can cuss, right?
No, yes, go for it. Be
Like, get the
100% your
hell on.
unfiltered self
Get out
here.
of
It's
here.
true.
Get out of here. And so I personally, I actually do have such an interest and passion that I have considered theology as a major
Ooh.
because I just want to actually get down to like the true facts of of the matter. Because also we're let's also address the fact that there are multiple translations in multiple different languages from
Yeah.
multiple different years. If we played Moon, come on, because I
Yeah.
know y'all done got me started. If we played the telephone game and there was a group of 5 of us or 10 of us
Yes. You're gonna
right
get a
now,
different story.
and I said something to one person, by the end of that
Yeah.
circle, it's not going to be what I said. That is how the translation of the Bible has happened.
Have you seen the videos where people be breaking down certain sections of the Bible, but they're like talking about systems in your body and shit like that? I
No, I haven't.
love those interpretations because it's like completely different than what like when they're saying this, they're talking about your pineal gland and its connection to your visceral. And
Yeah.
I'm like, what? I did not even think about that. But we're talking, yes, we're talking about something that's thousands of years old, that, like you said, different languages, and languages, like just from being bilingual in Spanish and English, like Spanish is a lot more vivid and, different than English. Language is very,
No, literally, if you say something in Spanish, it'll sound like so poetic. And then
yeah.
the translation in English is whack as hell.
Yeah. So it's
I'm
like
like,
just
yeah,
from
it
that
sounded
simple
better in Spanish.
understanding, we're talking about ancient languages that, you know
Mhm.
what I mean? Like, yeah, all
Let's
the
be real.
things.
It says now you guys are claiming that homophobia is this sin. Well, in the
Mhm.
original text, it's actually pedophilia.
Yeah. And you know what really turned me off, because I
So,
also grew up in a Christian home. My grandparents were pretty strict, like with the Christianity. So much so that like my mom's experience going into her adult years, she made some choices she felt like she really regret because of that kind of like expectation that was put onto her.
mhm,
For us, it was more like we always grew up around it, but I knew that we always kind of had a choice. But it definitely
mhm,
was like seen as like the right choice. You know what I mean? Like, I love my parents. I want to be good. My dad wasn't really involved with that kind of stuff, but my mom was, and I was really close to her. But throughout a lot of things between my mom and dad and the toxicity, one of the things that, I was disclosed with me later, probably when I was in high school, was that my mom had told the church pastor's like wife what had happened to her and what my dad was doing to
mm.
her. And she basically was like, well, you got to be a good Christian wife, suck it up, buttercup. We're like, bro, what? And when my mom told me that, I was like, and I'm like 15 at the time, I think, when my mom told me this, that I was like, what?
Mm.
I just,
Yeah, that's insane. That is
I
absolutely crazy.
something's not computing in my brain as a 15-year-old hearing this from my mom. That's like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that for me was where I was like, yeah, okay. I was gung ho about it. Had my what's it called? What's that
Little
thing?
promise ring
My
or
little, yeah, my little
whatever.
purity
Yeah.
ring. Yeah.
Purity
And
ring. Yeah.
then that was around the same time I was kind of questioning it all, and like also becoming like, being in my teen years and stuff. But stuff like that was where I was just like, yeah, you lost me. You definitely lost me. Like, what? You're saying, okay, if you're getting domestic violence is happening, well, got to be a good wife. You got married. Divorce is a sin. Oh, well,
Yeah.
what?
I think so.
Pedophilia? What? Like, what
Yeah,
are we
I
talking
think where
about?
I have struggled with my spirituality is I think the best way for me to put it is that I have had a lot of awareness of how the world works since I was a very young. So
Mm,
like I remember even when 9/11 happened
wow.
and I was in 3rd grade and I remember there was like supposed to be this or even when excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm conflating memories. This was when Katrina happened. When Hurricane Katrina
Oh,
happened,
Okay.
I'm so sorry. So this was a few years later. I think that was
Mm-hmm.
what, 2008
Oh, 06? Oh,
or
yeah. Oh,
oh
eight, something
06?
like
Oh,
that.
I
Yeah.
think it was 08, but
Yeah.
in around there. And I remember seeing these visuals, right, of people on
Mm-hmm.
roofs. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? I mean, like, and I remember saying to my mom and dad, "I'm not going to school." Or I think I said I wasn't going to eat. It was some sort of strike I was trying to do. I was
Yeah.
like, until Bush sends them real aid.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever age I was able to see that even younger, the world was fucked up.
Yeah.
And I don't know. The way that everyone is like up in arms now with Trump being in office for the second time and
Mm-hmm.
seeing everyone's just how everyone is really coming to the forefront with their bigotry and hate, even more so. And then also the internet, right? And we're able to see different videos from globally and all the other things, and we're just having more access.
Mm-hmm.
But I just want to make it clear that this is how it's always been.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it is amplified, and we are in unprecedented times. So I don't want anyone to hear this or watch this back and think that I'm saying we aren't in unprecedented times. We are. This is crazy. This is insane. It's not funny. I just laugh when I'm because I'm
I do
awkward.
too. I have to like
But
preface that a
like,
lot because I do tarot and I'll be
yeah,
like,
because like,
oh shit, and I'll be like, my
yeah,
bad, sorry. Hold
it's
on.
not funny. I mean, if anything, I'm laughing to keep myself from crying. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's
So
definitely a
it
trauma type of
is
thing. I do it
unprecedented
too.
times, but let's also be clear that a
Yeah.
lot of these structures
Mm-hmm.
have been in place and they have been doing this shit for many, many years.
Yeah.
So I think that's where I struggled because I
Mm-hmm.
had that awareness, I could see it, and I'm like, how am I supposed to have faith? I do believe there's a higher power, but how am I supposed to have faith in this higher power when they're making a mockery of like our existence
Yeah.
on a regular basis?
Yeah.
And this again, this is before Trump was even like this is when he was still on Apprentice, so motherfuckers still liked him. I
Yeah.
liked Trump back when he was on Apprentice. I was a kid. I was like, oh, you're fired. Like I thought that it was funny back in the day. Okay, now, but you know what I'm
Uh,
saying? Like back in the
yeah, and
day,
I just
he
I
wasn't he
want
didn't
to
have he
echo.
wasn't the same type of threat back then.
Yeah,
Like
and I want to echo your sentiment because I did, it's threads and all the things. It is so interesting seeing people respond and like how much of it is like social media, and how much is it like real life. And I always tell people like what you say online is one thing, but what you do in real life is another, and just
mm,
like to always keep that in mind when we talk about all these things because you can make that post or do that, whatever. But if you're still a trash ass person in real life, like it doesn't really matter what you're posting online, to be honest. Like, is this something that's integrated into your character and the way that you're moving? You could read a bunch of books, but are you integrating the knowledge?
hmm
But there was an older white lady on threads and she said something like, I voted and I've been calling my congressional member and I did this and I did that. Like, what do we do now? And I was like, what do you mean, what do we do now? Like, that's what people of color have been saying for thousands of years. Like, they've been doing all the things for thousands of years and still in the same place. Like, what do you mean? Like, just for a little bit of hope that things might change, just for a little bit of change. And you're like, I did this, and what do we do now? Like, what do you mean? You could be
Yeah,
doing
I
it
did
your
this
whole
one
life for
thing.
generations.
What
That's the whole
now?
point. You just do it for the future belief that one day
Mhm.
and whether you die doing it, there's no stopping of doing it, and all of a sudden it's just to be magically fixed. That's not how it works. And I think for a lot of people, especially people who look like me, there's this idea that like, oh, now that I'm aware of it and I did some action, it should just be changed.
Mhm.
And that's like, one, it's a perfectionist thing. I think the idea of things being able to not be fixed is very
Mm.
difficult for white people to even like accept and not be like, they can't deal with non-perfection. And then two, the idea that they can't just change something that they don't like and don't have
Mhm.
power over is a whole other thing. But like, to your point, you were talking about thousands of years of activism, thousands of years of dying for this stuff, thousands of years of maltreatment, thousands of years of enslavement, thousands of years of all the other things that you're talking about. You just called somebody and you expect things to be different. What do you do now? Like, what you do now is you do the same thing every single day. You take that into the workplace. You take that when you're talking to Sally down the street. You take that with where you when you're going to the grocery store. You take that with every single moment of how you live every single day for the rest of your goddamn life, however long it takes, with a smidgen of hope that something might change. And if it doesn't, you will die in your grave doing everything you can to make it happen. That's what you do.
Okay.
Like,
You
what are
get on
we?
the front lines. Get on the front lines. I'm not going to be on the front lines to fix a system my people
Yeah,
didn't create. It
yeah,
doesn't mean that I'm not going to help and fight for the shit because at the end of the day, it should be fought for.
right.
But yes, white people need to understand if you are coming into this world of your own spirituality journey or just wanting the world to look differently and better and actually better, like, then yes, you have to step up. You have to make those sacrifices in your interpersonal relationships. Be
Mm-hmm.
be the pariah at work. It's okay if
Mm-hmm.
nobody likes you if you are standing for what you truly believe in.
Mm-hmm.
I motherfuckers hated me at my job. I got fired
Yeah.
because I did not care. I did not care.
Yes.
I'm not gonna be fake with you old
Yeah.
white folks in Placer County and like you know what I'm saying. I'm just not gonna do it. I'm sorry. I'm not the one or
Yeah.
the two.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like get in the front lines. Let's work together. And it obviously is about community. We have to come
Mm-hmm.
together in order to get any type of change.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. Right now, I am at a place which I genuinely have never felt more aligned in my faith. And it's such a wonderful and like emotional experience because like yeah, I find myself crying like all the time because like I'm purging some of the unhealed parts and I'm working through that and I'm also like just grateful.
Mm-hmm.
Like just genuinely grateful to be in this place because like the stuff I've experienced in just the last couple of years alone uh my father passed actually 5 years ago. His anniversary was on the January 29th of this year. It was 5 years. And so he got sick during COVID. That was a whole thing, right? We're home, can't really go to appointments, people are in and out of the house. He's
Mm-hmm.
dying in front of us. Like like real traumatic shit, dealing with a treacherous breakup. You know what I'm saying? And so I was like really down bad. And then the last few years, I've been able to get medicated, go to therapy, get a different diagnosis that really provided so much insight where I was like, oh, that makes sense. I have borderline personality disorder. Super open about it because like I just learned I had it and I'm trying to talk about it as it comes up for me. But yeah, I feel like I'm actually able to address my needs in a way that I never really was before. Um, and also, yeah, just sitting with that gratitude. Like meeting you, what we met officially, Moon, last year.
Yeah, I think we came to the conclusion that we met at the Blind Person tour that
Yeah,
you were touring with Blinds last March. It was
yeah,
my
yeah,
birthday. It was like the week after my birthday or the weekend of my birthday or something. And I
yeah.
think that was the first time that I had officially like
Yeah,
seen
I think
you.
we were because you were at Cafe Colonial, right? You were doing merch for
Yes,
Blinds
I
there.
was at the
So
show at Cafe Colonial.
that's where we officially met, I
Yes,
think.
yes,
But yes, we that whole weekend because I think the San Francisco show was like a few days later.
yes.
And yeah, Blinds and
Shout
the
out to
Bando.
Blind.
Shout out to Blinds and the Bando. They're amazing.
Yes, yes, they are.
I
Mhm.
actually ran into when we ran into Homeboy at the Artist Cadre. Shout out to the
Yeah,
Shakur Center as well
yeah,
for all the work they do for the community.
yeah. Shout out to the Secure
Um,
Center for sure. The neighborhood program. Get tapped in, y'all, especially if you're in the
Yes,
South.
exactly. Get tapped in. I still need to go and help out with the food and stuff like that on Mondays and Fridays, 9 a.m.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, when he recognized me from that show, and I was like,
Yeah,
whoa. But that's when it really
it
clicked.
clicked.
So we
But
met like
wait,
a year ago. Yeah, and
yeah.
just all the relationships I've been able to form, even meeting Blind, right? Like that opportunity and being able to like we just met and I was singing in the green room, bro. And
Mhm.
she was like, you're so
Yeah.
good. They all were. And they literally called me and was like, can you do this show with us? And I was like, are you kidding me? Of course I will. What are you talking about? Like, absolutely. So yeah, just all the real opportunities I've been able to get, the relationships I've been able to form, the community I've been able to build since I've been able to truly step into like my truth, it's been so amazing. I mean, there's so many struggles I still have, obviously, but I
Mhm.
was telling my friend, one of my besties yesterday, like, I just feel so rich. Like, regardless. I'm not rich fiscally by any means.
Mm-hmm.
If I posted my bank account a screenshot, motherfuckers would laugh. But
Mm-hmm.
that's okay because I feel genuinely rich in so many other areas that I felt like I was lacking in before. Um, and it's just nice, dude. It's just nice to feel like I know who I am and I know who my higher power is and I know what's
Mm-hmm.
destined for me. You know what I'm saying? And like stepping into that. And 2026 is gonna be our year. I keep telling all my homies that like we are really about to like take over. I feel
Speaking
like
of riches in the bank account, I feel like I saw maybe you're raising money for something. Do you want to plug
I
that in?
am.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you
And
for
then you can
that.
send it to me. Send me the link. I'll put it in the description box down below, especially for those watching back on YouTube so that they can click the link and support. But go ahead and tell us more about it.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I'm obviously an artist and we have been chatting a bunch about spirituality, but hi, I'm Cameron Love. I'm a singer-songwriter. Thank you, Moon, earlier for the amazing intro. And I am putting together or trying to raise the funds to basically get everything paid for my Tiny Desk submission. So you might have seen there's a bunch of artists right now. I know Jakari Smith submitted. He's amazing. Um, Blinds in the Bando submitted. They posted their
Hey.
submission today. They're amazing. So there's a bunch of talented artists all across the nation submitting to the Tiny Desk. One person will get chosen to be featured on Tiny Desk and possibly get to tour. I'm just excited to be part of the opportunity. But yeah, I have to pay for the everything. We already did it, but I'm working with people who are amazing and trust me that I will get them paid. um, the band is actually they agreed to do it for free and my videographer. So I'm
Oh.
trying to raise enough so that I can get my engineer paid
Mm-hmm.
and still
Right.
have enough to give them because obviously I understand they did it with the graciousness of their hearts, and none of this could have been possible without literally every single person that was involved. So I want to, of course, be able to contribute to them. So that's why
Is
the
the
rate
link
is like
currently
five
in your
hundred
bio?
dollars. It is not. I'm basically just accepting Cash App, Venmo, but I will send you the links to both of them, and
Okay.
I will put them in my bio as well. Actually, because that's
Cool.
smart. That's a good idea. Thank
Sweet.
you. And yeah, my I'm trying to raise $500. The engineering and max mixing and mastering studio stuff is about 300 something, and then yeah,
What's
we'll
your
divvy out the
what's your
rest.
Cash App and Venmo? Here, I'll put it on here.
Yeah, so it's gonna be the same handle as my Instagram, all across the board. It is TTG, that trans guy, which is what it stands for. So TTG Cameron Love. And
Okay.
if it's Cash App, there'll be that dollar. And if it's Venmo, it'll be
There's the
just
at song.
TTG Cameron Love. Yeah.
You said you got your goal is to do the is $500.
Yes. My goal
Okay.
is 500. Um, that way I can have enough to get my team, my crew a little bit something. It's not as much as I would want to be able to pay them, obviously, but it'll still be
Oh,
something.
so.
A little
But
something, something.
people are surprised at how much work goes into everything, and like while making art and making music and all those things is fun, it's also work and it does require a lot of discipline and time and energy. So yeah, if anyone's able to donate, I just put that in the chat so you can
Thank you,
see it
Moon.
now. Yes. Also, I'm here in the chat. Let me go ahead and read some of the comments here.
Yes, yes, yes.
Demon Boy said religious culture isn't really teaching Christ consciousness. Alan Watts has good views on how to view the teachings of Christ and not buying in the church. Shout out to Alan Watts one time. You also said Christ isn't a last name, but a level of consciousness, I believe. And it's like we're all supposed to level up and tune up our frequencies with love. I have heard that before too. I've heard lots of different conversations around that. Satva California says facts. Shout out to Satva in the building. They got some dang tree, y'all. Check them out. Then Demon Boy says, if we can believe evil exists, why can't we believe good exists? I try to remind myself that all the time. And you said, I'm not the one or the two. Also, while we're over here talking about, I also wanted to just say also, I don't really like have any kind of feelings towards people who do practice religion in any type of way. And I do want to mention that for anyone who is listening, I think it's important to have a connection to God, universe, source, whatever you call it. I don't care, to be honest. You can call it your great divine cat. But all I care about is that you're
Period.
connected to that greater source and however you find that connection. but the dogma associated with certain, religions and the way that they use that to manipulate and control people is what I am critical of as someone who came from that kind of upbringing. And as someone who, like, just as a multicultural studies majored and now turned minor and poli-sci major, like, I'm just very in general critical politically, and definitely critical of the way that religion has been used in means to politically drive us in ways that don't benefit us. So it's
Mhm.
definitely, if you find a way for it to work for you and you love that and you're able to see past those things, no, more power to you. Or if you're able to create a new, or have a church that's, like, embraces those things, which I've seen some people talk about certain churches that kind of have, like, they don't have as much of that dogma. That's super awesome as well. Definitely share that with others, because people need God in their lives no matter how you get there. So I just
Period.
wanted to say that, because I don't want it to seem like I'm super anti-religion. I'm just anti, using it as a means of control in a way
That
that's
part.
not, beneficial. But
The institution of religion is what I'm
yes,
against,
yes,
not
yes,
the
yes.
religions themselves.
Yes. And one of the things that
Yes.
I learned, so going back to, like, growing up in a Christian home and, like, having that, my mom tell me about that. And also, like, there are some diary entries that I read of hers as well that she showed me when I was younger, like in high school, of, like, the things that times she wanted to leave my dad and all the situations that he put her through. And the way she would talk to herself was like, make me a good enough Christian woman that my father would stop doing these things to her. And I was like, the eyes cannot roll far enough into the back of my head that you think it's because you're not a good enough Christian woman that these things are happening to you. Is
That
like,
part.
that kind of brainwashing is just like, so, like, what? Not like this dude is fucking got issues, bro. And, like, we just gotta, next day on the number. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I just wanted to mention some of that. But moving on to some of your authentic storytelling and inclusive artistry, tell me the way in which arts, music, and that has kind of, become part of this, like, discovering your purpose, and been a way for you to navigate through the world through all of this. Tell me more about the way that the role that music plays and your artistry plays in your spirituality and just in navigating the world in general.
Yeah, that's a great question. And I would say that music is quite literally why I am alive.
Mm,
Um,
that's right. Mhm.
it has shaped me to become a functional person in society.
Mm,
Um, when I was gave the example earlier about the dance class, that was a real example. Just one. There are many like that of me being put in classes or being put in environments, and me being too afraid to actually do anything. And my mom could see that crippling fear and anxiety that I was experiencing, and she's actually the one. And this is where I'll say, because I did mention that there were plenty, like some of my needs were overlooked. I had
mm,
amazing. I want to preface, had and have amazing parents,
mm,
and I was very blessed to be in a two-parent household with parents that loved each other. I didn't witness any type of toxic abuse.
mm,
I was very loved. I was around a lot of culture and plays, and just they exposed me to a lot of things. Um, so yeah, my mom was able to recognize that I needed to get out of my shell. She put me into some musical theater. She actually kind of begged me, and at first I kept saying no. And then eventually, I don't remember what changed my mind because I was too young, but eventually I did say, you know what, maybe I will do this. And
mm,
I don't remember every detail. I'm one of those people that tends to remember feelings more than like the memory itself.
mm,
But I do recall being on stage like the opening night, and I was terrified. I mean, I remember feeling terrified, but I also remember feeling like when the curtains closed, feeling like amazing. Like
mm.
I could do this forever.
Wait, so
And
you
that
said you
was
did musical theater?
I did musical
You're a theater
theater.
kid. Me
I'm a
too.
theater kid, yeah, girl.
Let's
Like
go theater kids. What's up?
listen, Moon, you see my fucking content and how
Yeah.
dramatic I am. There's
Hey, I feel
no
like us theater
way.
kids can sniff each other out.
Bruh, there's no way I didn't grow up in the theater with my dramatic motherfucking ass. Like, please,
There's
just
a
a
lot of
drama
personality. I
king
know.
I
I love
literally, I
it.
was talking to my friend earlier, and I said something. I was like, "You're just so fucking selfish." But I'm just being dramatic, like literally being just being dramatic, because she would. It doesn't matter, anyways. So yes, I grew up in musical theater. My very first play was Oliver Twist
Hey.
ensemble, of course. Um, But yeah, that was the beginning of me truly stepping into like I'd say my purpose,
Mhm.
um, which really kind of helped me. And then I started songwriting. So that was like my mom put me in piano. I was a musical theater kid. My mom put me in piano for I only did it for a few years, but it was the start of me learning. But I'm pretty self-taught for the most part. Um, Piano, guitar, all of that. I picked up guitar in high school. And I kind of never looked back at piano because I was actually piano only. So if you look back at like my footage from like when I was younger, like my old YouTube,
Mhm.
I'm on the
The
piano.
old YouTube
My
days.
old YouTube,
I hope no
yeah.
one finds my first YouTube entry ever. It's under a different name and all the things, but yes, old YouTube. Shout out to
I
old
remember I
YouTube.
remember when my last ex found my YouTube. She started watching all the videos. She was, you're so cute. I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. Please delete that. But I'm like afraid to delete it though, because it's like it's a part of my journey, you know.
Well, see,
But
from
yeah.
my era was before we were of age, so we were all using fake emails that we don't have access to because they had fake birthdays attached to them, which is how I got lost
Mm.
on MySpace and YouTube and all things. So it's just permanently singed on internet space that I can't get rid of. But yes.
Yeah, my mom was like one of those strict parents that was like stranger
Oh.
danger. So I didn't even get a YouTube until I was like I don't remember what age, but I was double digits, and then she like was there with me when I made the account. So there was
Aw.
none of that. Yeah, she was like monitoring. But yeah, that I mean, I'd say musical. Just growing up and realizing that music, I was good at it, and that it was a form of expression helped me tremendously because I just felt very shy. I didn't feel like I've always felt like I was not the most articulate, although I have been told otherwise.
Mm.
But I have always struggled with trying to get my what I'm thinking and feeling to translate accurately to other people. So music was like a way for me to just like do that naturally. And so I would argue that yeah, I mean most people don't want to hear me talk. They just want to hear me sing because I'm able to like touch them and they want to hear the lyrics and stuff like that. And I don't know, I just it's very all of it is very I'm really big on authenticity.
Mm.
Um my gifts come naturally. Of course I have sharpened them, but like my ear and all of that it is nothing but God. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I feel like where it ties for me is I think you cannot have belief in a higher power or God, believe that they gave you a gift and then not do anything with that gift.
Mm.
I just feel like it's a disservice to
Mm.
yourself, your journey, and then to God, right? Because He's trying to like push you in the direction of like where you're supposed to be. And you're kind or me, I was kind of like, I've always done it. Everyone always know like anybody who knows me knows I do music and sing. But like I just couldn't take it serious enough until like the
Mm.
last year or so. And now I'm like, oh, I'm ready. I'm like, I got hit up today for a gig. I have tomorrow I'm gonna be at Pretty and Punk.
Hey.
Mateo Briscoe and the Sloth Boys. There's Lou Jaw, Contemporary Girlfriend, and there might be another band that I might be missing. I'm very sorry if that's the case. But either way, it'll be at the Starlet Room tomorrow. I'm doing poetry after dark on Valentine's Day. Um, I'm doing a show with Hayla V at Stack State. That's going to be on the 25th of this month. And then I have a backyard show with Liz Shine. Shout out to Liz Shine um, on the 27th. So, yeah, I mean, now I'm at a place where I'm able to like, and I also just got hit up for something. It's going to be in a few months, but still, I just got hit up about something today. So now that I've stepped into like being like, okay, I'm ready for this,
Mhm.
the universe is ready too. Like
Okay.
the universe has been ready, and
Mhm.
it's literally just been waiting for me. Just like
Hey.
my family, I was at the studio last night, and they were like, one of the guys was like, "Well, who does your family support you?" And I said, "Oh, they're my number one." I said,
Mm.
"They've just been waiting for me to believe in myself because
Yeah.
they've been believed in me. My sister, my twin, you'll see her at my shows. They be singing every lyric. Sometimes I look at my twin for the lyrics because I don't remember them. but they know every lyric, you know. So yeah, I've always been so supported and loved, and I'm just super excited to like step into that purpose for real. Like the alignment, just everything just feels so aligned, and like yeah, I'm just ready, man.
Well, big blessings to that journey. I'm so grateful that you got to come on today's episode and share a little bit about that here. Also, for the record, I do like when you talk and sing, by the way.
Thank
Just
you,
just letting
thank
you
you,
know.
friend. Thank you, friend. I appreciate you.
So we're gonna transition to pulling some tarot cards. I want to pull one and see what your intuition stirs up as well, and
Mm.
we'll end it on that. But before we do that, is there anything else you want to mention or share with our audience here that I haven't brought up in the conversation today?
Well, no, first and foremost, I just want to thank you for having me on. I think this was a wonderful conversation and would love to be back on another time if you would have me. And
Definitely.
I think, yeah, we covered so much. You know, we're complicated, we're living in a complicated world, but I think as long as we are staying true to ourselves, leading with love and just yeah, following our passions, that we can be whatever we want to be. Like the everything that I've been told when I was younger, I do believe it now. I believe it because I have shifted my own mindset and I understand my own placement with my spirituality now. And now I'm like, oh, okay, like I am magic. I'm going to make
Mm-hmm.
the life that I want. I'm going to create the life that I want. Um, so
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's about it for
Also,
me.
believe so.
I think I dropped all my shows coming up.
Are you 93?
Hmm?
93? What's your year? 93 or 95?
94.
94. You are 94 too. Okay. Because I'm 94. 94, 94. Hey. The Neptune Aries energy, though, for the 90s babies is like, hey. I've been talking
I'm
about it so much lately.
big Taurus, big Taurus,
Hey.
big Taurus. You feel me?
Oh, I love
Yeah.
that. I love that. Yeah, I feel like for all my 90s babies, the Neptune and Aries energy and what's going on astrologically was like, this is what we were born for. That's how it feels. Like, buckle up, let's go. We've been
I have been
waiting.
looking at the clock daily at 4:44 and 5:55. Every time
Hey.
I see it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm aligned and I'm protected and I'm transforming and I'm just like, yes, it's all working out in my favor.
Well, with all that being said, let's go ahead and ground in and pull a card.
Let's
So
do
you
it.
can close your eyes or just get comfy, whatever feels comfortable. And we're going to just do some breathing in and out through the nose, taking time to ground ourselves before we pull a card and close out today's session. So we're going to start with a deep breath in through the nose, thanking your guides, my guides, and the divine for this space today. And a deep breath out. Checking in with our bodies and seeing how we feel today. Another deep breath in through the nose. Just asking that these messages come in a good way, in the exact way we need to hear at this moment. Deep breath out. Last deep breath in. Just really noticing if there's anything on your heart today, if there's anything you want messages on. And if not, just remaining open. Deep breath out. Asking that this time be a sacred container for this, protected from outside distractions. And so it is. Alrighty, you may open your eyes when you feel comfortable. And let's go ahead and see what comes through with the tarot. It's
Oh,
a boom.
ready to jump out.
All right, we got the Six of Swords, y'all. So usually when I pull cards here on the Tea and Tarot space, I like to just give everyone an opportunity to tap into their intuition. Let me know what they see. You can let us know in the live chat here if you're on the live or on the playback down below in the comments. And I always say, because I don't believe there's a hierarchy in tarot, and a lot of tarot for me is just like giving us the opportunity to tap into our subconscious and our intuition, and the cards and the images are part of that communication. So if you see anything, let me know down below and then we'll hop right into it. I'm gonna take a couple of seconds, do a little water break. Mm-hmm. Shout out to everybody who is here in the live. I don't think I see any comments. Alrighty. So I'll go ahead and start with some of the things I noticed. I noticed the waves, and just like water itself being like very emotionally charged. Boats, travel, definitely associated with that. And then we have the Six of Swords here, where you see all the swords in the boat itself. Although the boat still seems to be floating. What are some things you noticed, Cameron?
I'm not gonna hold you.
Anything
It is a little
besides?
difficult for me to see the details.
Okay.
Pero everything you said, I'm noticing that he's steering the boat with that oar. I believe that's what it's called,
Mm-hmm.
which takes strength,
Yes, I love
um,
that. Mm-hmm.
especially against the tide. That's gonna be my contribution.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I've never thought about that with the Six of Swords, but definitely there is a sense of like going against the tide with this card, and I love how you called that. Traditionally with the Six of Swords, it represents like moving on a lot of times to something better, like better mentality, better mindset, um, like searching for mental clarity and harmony. But this one is also kind of interesting because this card in particular, while that's what this card represents traditionally, there's always like these swords in the boat. That's like, how are you getting anywhere when you have swords in your bottom of your boat? So so I liked how you kind of, mentioned like the going against the tide and the strength that it takes to continue to push towards brighter pastures, like that brighter mental health, brighter vision for the future, brighter uh, everyday lives for ourselves and for others. Because the other thing about this card I'm always really interested or like pay attention to is like the background and how like clear it seems back here, and like
Mm,
peaceful and serene, and the water's calm, but here they are using the oar and kind of in the work. And I definitely feel like for the message for the tea and tarot and it coming through in this way, I think does signify like that strength sometimes we need, the some mental fortitude, is that the right word,
mhm,
to like be able to get past difficult scenarios and situations, and especially during these times that I feel like are very uncomfortable, and
mm,
require us to kind of sit in that uncomfortability but also still take action. And I think that that can be difficult for folks to know what that looks like or what that means, and to have the strength to be able to sit in uncomfortability but still take action, and to take action in a way that doesn't contribute to more harm can also be very difficult. Whether we're talking about
mm,
our harm to ourselves, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, so on and so forth, or those around us. I definitely see this as something that's like reminding us of the strength that we do have, and
mm.
how powerful we are when we do put our minds to something, which I definitely see you expressed as well today with, being like, oh, I always was this like a badass person. I was just like waiting for myself to recognize it, because I also, that doesn't mean like what you go through or the realities of like showing up and that not being reflected by other people isn't real either,
Mm.
but it's like the moment you showed up and said, well, I don't give a fuck, I'm me, like I'm gonna be me badassly, it's like then you kind of start aligning to those people who did see you for who you are badassly.
Yeah,
And I love
exactly.
that.
And it takes a lot of strength to be able to own who you are, especially in certain environments where you're
Mm-hmm.
kind of being shunned not to do those things or not to be that way, or that you're just living a lifestyle where it's a phase, right? Like it takes a lot of strength to still show up as you are
Mm-hmm.
despite any of that, you know? So
Yeah.
I yeah. And I appreciate you letting me share, like my journey and things that have come up for me. It really means a lot, like especially in this time where I feel super aligned with my faith. I felt like it's perfect timing for sure.
Yes, well, I'm so grateful you came on today's episode, and like I said, you are a phenomenal artist and so talented, and I hope
Thank
everyone
you,
goes
baby.
and checks you out at the show here in Sacramento, or when you start touring in a city near them, um, all the things. Let people know where they can find you. I know your Instagram handle will be attached down here, but
Mhm.
if there's any other good ways to find you, any last kind of ways for people to come get connected to you, let them know before we get off of here.
Yeah, the only last thing is pretty much my Instagram and my TikTok is where I'm most active posting
Mhm.
content. I also post like some funny videos. I've been told I can,
You
get
do
a
have a good
laugh
sense
here
of
and
humor,
there.
yes.
Yeah, I do have a very broad sense of humor. So I also make other content besides singing videos. And then, but yeah, TTG Cameron Love on TikTok and Instagram. If you want to DM me there for to book gigs or ask me any questions, you can. And the last thing I want to leave y'all with is Robert. He's a I think it's trumpet. My phone's right here. He's gonna be at Torch Club tonight. I should have looked at the time, but I think it's like 6 to 9, if I'm not mistaken. And he did ask me to sing a song or two. So I'm planning to pop in. Might do that. So if you guys are available or free tonight and want to slide to Torch Club, we'll be hanging out.
Hey, well, thank you so much, Cameron. I appreciate you so much for coming on today. And thank you, everybody, for watching and being here. Check out all the goodies down below on the playback in the description box. Make sure you follow Cameron Love to stay up to date with what they're doing. And until next time, I will see you all later. Thank you so much for being here. Bye.
Shout out to you, Moon. Love ya.
Hey, much love.